What's up, guys? Today we're breaking down the absolute craziest moments from Reacher Season 1, and trust me, there are a lot of them. This show changed the game with fight scenes that look like they belong in an R-rated superhero movie. Before we jump in, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. We've got tons more breakdowns coming your way. Also, quick heads up, there are spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched the show yet, you might want to check it out first. Trust me, it's worth it.
What you want?
To give you a choice. See, you're in my house, fatso, and you didn't ask permission. So you and your friends can leave now, or they can carry your fat out in a bucket.
This scene right here, pure gold. Reacher's locked up in a cramped prison cell, and some inmates think they've got the perfect setup to take him down. The whole thing feels like watching a nature documentary where some poor animals are about to learn why you don't mess with an apex predator. These guys come at him thinking they've got the numbers advantage. But Reacher? He's just there, probably doing calculus in his head about the exact force needed to break each bone. The first guy swings. Big mistake. Every punch is precise, every counter perfectly timed. The best part comes after he's laid out. No celebration, no trash talk. And those sunglasses, they're not just a prop, it's a statement, a trophy, a middle finger to a system that thought it could contain him. When all settles, Reacher doesn't celebrate. He doesn't even break a sweat. He simply adjusts those borrowed sunglasses and walks away, leaving behind a room full of groaning reminders that underestimating him is a fatal mistake.
Look, it's the war criminal. Hey, you hungry? I'll buy you a meal, man. You know, help out the homeless.
All right, guys, this scene is straight up legendary. So here's what went down. Someone vandalized Roscoe's truck, and Reacher tracks it back to KJ and his crew. Now, most people would call the cops or maybe leave an angry note, but Reacher, nah, he's got his own way of handling things. He walks into this diner where KJ and his boys are hanging out, thinking they own the place. The whole scene is like watching someone walk into a lion's den, except the lions don't realize they're actually the prey. KJ's crew is just chilling, laughing it up, probably bragging about how untouchable they are in their territory. But watch Reacher's body language. He's totally calm. Totally in control. When the fight kicks off, it's not even fair. KJ throws the first punch, and that's when everything goes crazy. Tables are getting flipped, chairs are becoming projectiles, and Reacher's just methodically taking guys down like he's checking items off a grocery list. The best part? The whole time Reacher's fighting, he's got this look on his face like he's more annoyed about having to do this than actually worried about the outcome. By the end, KJ and his crew are scattered across the floor, and Reacher just walks out, probably heading for breakfast somewhere else. This next fight is absolutely wild. Some dude with a ponytail thinks he can take down Reacher in a dark alley. Spoiler alert, it doesn't go well for Ponytail Guy. Here's the setup. Reacher's getting closer to uncovering this huge conspiracy, and someone's desperate enough to send a hitman after him. Our guy Reacher spots this dude tailing him from the police station, but instead of running or calling for backup, he decides to handle it the Reacher way. The fight that follows is brutal. Ponytail Guy actually gets a hit in, slashes Reacher across the stomach with a knife. But here's where it gets crazy. Reacher spots a random bicycle wheel in the alley and turns it into a weapon. Like, who even thinks of that? This man's out here fighting like he's in a Jackie Chan movie. But wait, it gets better. When the wheel isn't enough, Reacher straight up takes off his tie and uses it to disarm the guy. Then comes the most insane part. He literally jumps over a stairwell and uses his body weight to choke the guy out. The whole thing looks like something out of a video game, except it's happening in this gritty, realistic way.
I think it might be just you and me now, Reacher!
Guys, this is it. The final boss fight of Season 1. This scene is absolutely insane because it's not just about the fight, it's about payback. KJ has been causing chaos throughout the season, and now it's time for the final round. The setting is perfect. A warehouse that's literally on fire. Like the whole place is going up in flames while these two are about to throw down. KJ shows up with brass knuckles thinking he's got a chance. And honestly, this dude picked the wrong day to be brave. The fight is pure chaos. You've got flames everywhere, smoke filling up the place, and KJ is swinging that axe like a madman. But Reacher, he's just waiting, watching, like a chess player who's already seen the checkmate coming. When he finally makes his move, it's devastating. The craziest part? KJ actually tries to negotiate his way out when he realizes he's losing, but Reacher isn't here for a conversation. This fight was always going to end one way. The final moment when he sends KJ into the burning debris. That's not just a fight ending, that's justice being served in the most Reacher way possible.
Maybe you don't want to draw attention firing outside a crowded bar. Or maybe you have orders to take me to your boss so we can find out how much I know.
Reacher meets up with Spivey, but instead of a friendly chat, he gets flanked by two guys with guns. These dudes actually try to make Reacher get in a car trunk, and his response? Classic Reacher. "It's too small," he tells them. It'll be uncomfortable, but while these guys think he's just complaining, Reacher's already planning their takedown. In a split second, everything changes. He grabs the first guy's gun and drops him like a sack of potatoes. The second dude gets his hand slammed in the trunk. Ouch! The best part comes when one of them pulls a knife. Big mistake. Reacher matches him blade for blade, and even after taking a headbutt, our boy just gives it right back twice as hard. Sure, the cops show up to break it up, but everyone knows who won this round.
He's not gonna tell you anything. It's Bobby's a front.
This fight is straight up entertaining. Picture this, Reacher's at a bar doing some detective work when this absolute unit of a guy, we're talking real Sasquatch size, tries to intimidate him. Bad move, my dude. Sasquatch is a boxer, and he's feeling pretty confident about his southpaw stance. But Reacher, he's got the perfect response. You know the thing about boxing? Too many rules. Then boom, one quick shot to the groin. Hey, no rules, remember? Followed by some brutal elbow strikes. The funniest part? After Reacher drops this mountain of a man, he just casually pulls him up by the collar and gets all the answers he needs. Talk about efficient interrogation. Episode 7 gives us peak Reacher going full commando mode. This scene is absolutely wild. Reacher knows some bad guys are coming to Hubble's house, so what does he do? Goes shopping for weapons, covers himself in camo, and sets up the perfect trap. When 4 guys with shotguns show up, Reacher turns into a one-man army. He takes out the driver first, then starts picking off the others one by one. We're talking throat slits, stabs, and some serious hand-to-hand combat. The final fight ends up in a pool, but Reacher isn't fazed. He just climbs out and ends it with a well-placed shot. This whole sequence is like watching someone play a stealth video game in real life. Sure, he struggles a bit with the last guy, but come on. The whole thing is pure action movie gold.
People behind this have reach. Maybe even into Memphis PD. We can't just walk right in.
No, we can't. Hey, what are you doing, man? Riverdale, hold on.
Shoot him a coin.
Episode 5 hits differently with one of the most intense sequences in the series. Picture this. Reacher and Neagley are trapped in the back of a patrol car, but this isn't your regular ride-along. They've got a corrupt cop behind the wheel who's being forced to choose between killing them or having his own family tortured. The tension explodes when Officer Rido breaks down in tears and shoots his partner, Officer Aoin. Brain matter splatters across the window, and that's when Reacher and Neagley know it's time. But here's where it gets crazy. Instead of trying to talk their way out, Reacher goes full beast mode and starts kicking the divider like he's trying to punt it into next week. What follows is pure chaos. With Neagley backing him up, they manage to make Rido panic enough to drive the car straight into a river. Now, they're not just fighting a corrupt cop, they're fighting against drowning in a sinking police car. The whole scene is claustrophobic, intense, and shows how quick Reacher and Neagley think under pressure. Rido's final choice to stay and drown rather than face prison tells you everything you need to know about how scared these bad guys are of their bosses. Talk about workplace pressure.
Looks like a punch list.
Episode 4 gives us one of the best partner moments in the series. Reacher and Roscoe Conklin, who's proving to be way more than just a small-town cop, find themselves under fire from 2 professional hitmen. These aren't your average thugs. We're talking about Vincent Kai and Maxim Murin, guys who actually know what they're doing. The scene starts with them just hanging around their hotel when bullets start flying. Reacher, being Reacher, comes up with a plan on the spot. He tells Roscoe to split up, using himself as bait to draw the bad guys away. Classic Reacher move, putting himself in the line of fire to protect others. But here's where it gets interesting. Reacher leads them down an alley, and for once, our boy actually struggles. The fight with the second guy is way harder than it should be, and Reacher ends up with a gun in his face. Just when you think our hero might be in real trouble, Roscoe proves why she's the perfect partner. She sneaks up behind the guy who's too busy monologuing about revenge and puts him down with a perfect headshot. The whole sequence shows that even someone as capable as Reacher sometimes needs backup, and Roscoe is exactly the kind of partner you want watching your 6. Their teamwork is smooth, their timing is perfect, and it proves that sometimes the best fights are the ones where you don't have to go it alone.
If you boys knew what's about to happen to you, you'd leave now. So I'll give you to the count of 3.
All right, guys, let's talk about the scene that made everyone sit up and say, oh snap, this show isn't playing around. This happens right in episode 1, and it sets the tone for everything that follows. Picture this. Reacher's in jail for something he didn't do, stuck with Hubble, who's basically a walking target. They're surrounded by the worst kind of people, and some corrupt guard thought it would be fun to throw them to the wolves. Big mistake. Huge. The whole thing goes down in the prison bathroom, and man, the setup is perfect. These inmates start filing in one by one, thinking they've got the drop on Reacher, but our boy, he sees it coming from a mile away. The best part is how he handles it. Pure Reacher style. Here's what makes this scene legendary. Reacher actually gives these guys a chance to walk away. He's standing there, calm as can be, and starts counting to 3, like he's talking to kindergartners instead of hardened criminals. Something bad's about to happen, he tells them. And boy, was he right. He doesn't even make it to 3 before fists start flying, bodies start dropping, and these inmates learn the hard way why you don't corner a guy who looks like he bench presses cars for fun. The confined space of the bathroom just makes it more intense. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, just pure chaos in close quarters. This scene isn't just about the action. It's Reacher showing exactly who he is. He gives fair warning, offers a chance to walk away, and then delivers exactly what he promised. It's like watching someone set up dominoes and then knock them all down, except the dominoes are bad guys and they're getting knocked out instead of over. Season 1 of Reacher is a masterclass in how to make fight scenes matter. Every punch has a purpose, every fight tells a story. What makes these scenes so epic isn't just the action, it's how Reacher turns each fight into a statement. From that first prison scene to the final showdown, we watch Reacher clean up Margrave one fight at a time. This was just season 1. If you thought these fights were insane, just wait until you see what comes next. If you thought season 1 was intense, season 2 of Reacher just cranked everything up to 11. We're talking bigger fights, higher stakes, and even crazier moments that'll make your jaw drop. In this season, Reacher's not working alone. He's got his old military crew with him. And trust me, these scenes are absolutely bonkers. Let's dive into the most epic moments that had everyone talking.
We're not drinking. We were drinking. Then you interrupted us.
She doesn't belong here.
It's the army. Do any of us really belong here?
Guys, this scene is pure chaos in the best way possible. Reacher and his crew are just trying to have a couple of beers, but the 91st soldiers in the bar aren't exactly rolling out the welcome mat. These military guys think they own the place, and they're not happy about Reacher's team being there. But here's the thing about Reacher. He doesn't start fights, he finishes them, and boy does he finish this one. The whole thing explodes when one of the 91st guys decides to play tough. Bad move. What follows is like watching a wrecking ball in human form. Reacher's not just fighting, he's conducting an orchestra of pain. Tables breaking, chairs flying, and these tough guys learning real quick why Reacher's reputation isn't just hype. The awesome part, his crew jumps in and shows they're not just there for backup. Each one of them is a certified badass. By the end, the bar looks like a tornado hit it, and the 91st soldiers are probably rethinking their life choices.
Better hurry the fuck up, kid, or this is gonna go bad for both of you.
This next scene proves why Reacher's basically a real-life superhero. Picture this, a carjacker's taken off with a kid in the back seat and the mum is freaking out. Most people would call the cops, but Reacher isn't most people. He spots this going down and switches into full-on hero mode. The chase that follows is absolutely insane. The carjacker thinks he's got a clean getaway, but he has no idea he's got a 6'5" force of nature on his tail. When Reacher catches up, it's game over. The fight is quick, brutal, and exactly what you'd expect when a professional bad guy meets a professional pain dealer. The way Reacher handles this dude isn't just about winning the fight, it's about sending a message to anyone else thinking about messing with innocent people.
Garbage like our sociopathic friend here?
Oh, why, you want to borrow it?
Oh yeah, I got for it.
This scene right here, pure adrenaline. A whole biker gang decides they want to test their luck against Reacher and his crew. Spoiler alert, worst decision ever. The setting is perfect. Middle of nowhere, dust flying everywhere, and these bikers thinking they've got the upper hand because of their numbers. But Reacher and his team turn this into a masterclass in tactical fighting. They're using the bikes as weapons, the terrain as cover, and showing why they were the elite of the elite in the military. Every team member brings their A-game, and watching them work together is like seeing a special ops mission in real time. The highlight, when Reacher uses one biker's momentum against him, literally flipping him off his bike like he's in an action movie. The whole scene shows why you don't mess with special investigators, especially not a whole team of them.
Agent Jack Reacher, the 110th Military Police Special Investigations Unit. We have reason to believe these vehicles have been used to transport Schedule 1 narcotics. Kneel with your fingers interlocked behind your head while we conduct our search.
You don't have a warrant.
This sequence here, it shows exactly why you don't mess with special investigators. The team discovers military vehicles being used for drug trafficking, and they decide to handle it their way. The setup is perfect. Remote location, corrupt officials thinking they're bulletproof, and Reacher's team ready to prove them wrong. When these guys spot the ambush, they start spraying bullets everywhere, but Reacher's already 3 steps ahead. Watch how the team moves in this scene. Every person knows their role. Neagley's providing cover fire, Dixon's flanking, and O'Donnell's securing the cargo. Meanwhile, Reacher's in full beast mode, moving from vehicle to vehicle like some kind of freight train with military training. The whole operation gets wrapped up clean, drugs seized, bad guys down, and another lesson taught about why you don't bring corrupt schemes to Reacher's backyard.
No! You can still stop the missile from getting in the hands of a terrorist! No! Don't kill me, and I'll tell you where I'm gonna leave my move!
You assume that's the information I need, Langston?
For the season finale, we get something totally epic. Reacher versus Langston in a helicopter fight. Like, who even thinks of staging a fight scene in a helicopter? This show does, and it's absolutely insane. Langston comes in swinging with brass knuckles, thinking he's got a chance in this confined space. But even in a tight spot, Reacher moves like he's got the whole thing planned out. The helicopter's tilting, alarms are blaring, and these two are just going at it. The fight choreography here is next level. You've got the helicopter rocking with every hit, the height adding extra tension, and Langston realizing way too late that he picked the wrong guy to fight in any location, let alone thousands of feet in the air. Langston, realizing he was losing, tried to bargain, offering information in exchange for his life. Reacher, unfazed, pinned him against the helicopter's edge. The final blow sent Langston plummeting into the abyss below, ending his reign of terror for good. Could Reacher have walked away? Maybe. But in a fight this high stakes, there was no room for mercy. Remember when I said Reacher and his crew don't mess around? Well, they take it to a whole new level in episode 3, and holy smokes, literally, the 110th Special Investigations Unit, Reacher's old military crew, needs to breach a target location in a suburban neighborhood. Neagly's there picking the lock like a pro, all stealth mode, but then they decide subtlety is overrated. These absolute mad lads actually build a pipe bomb. The best or craziest part, they actually use it. In a moment that probably had every neighbor spitting out their morning coffee, the 110th just casually deploys their homemade explosive. So much for Neagly's lockpicking skills, right? Now, let's be real for a second. This is one of those moments where you can tell Reacher's letting his military training override his usual strategic thinking. Our guy usually has this super strict moral code, which makes this whole let's blow stuff up in the suburbs plan feel a bit out of left field. But you know what? It's exactly this kind of over-the-top action that makes Season 2 so entertaining. It's like watching someone play with military-grade fireworks in a place where people are usually just walking their dogs and mowing their lawns. Remember, kids, don't try this at home. Like, seriously, leave the pipe bombs to the professional TV characters.
Guess you were right. We're being followed. How you want to play this?
I'm gonna go introduce myself.
Episode 2 gives us one of the most ridiculous and awesome displays of Reacher's strength yet. When our guy needs to make a point, he doesn't just talk, he lets his size 15 boots do the work. Reacher walks up to Russo's car, and instead of leaving a note like a normal person, he straight up kicks the vehicle so hard the airbag deploys. Like, who even thinks of doing that? The amount of force needed to pop an airbag is insane, but Reacher makes it look like he's just kicking a soccer ball. Is it realistic? Absolutely not. Is it the most intimidating way to send a message? You bet it is. Just imagine being the bad guy who sees this and realizes, oh yeah, that's the dude we're supposed to fight. Talk about rethinking your life choices. This moment perfectly sums up why Reacher's such a force of nature. When he wants to make a point, physics just kind of takes a lunch break.
Wish I had my piece.
Any decent cop would see the outline of a weapon in these scrubs. We go in nice and easy, get the info we need, and we're gone.
Fine.
This scene proves that Neagly is just as much of a beast as Reacher when it comes to throwing down. So here's the setup. Neagly and Reacher are at this hospital playing dress-up as doctors while hunting down the hitman who tried to take out Detective Russo. But things go sideways real quick when they realize they've got company. The two split up and Neagly ends up in this creepy morgue that looks like something straight out of a horror movie. But our girl's not playing around. She grabs a crutch because anything's a weapon when you're trained like she is. Then boom, this mercenary dude comes at her from behind with a drill of all things. Like, who brings a power tool to a fight? This guy, apparently. He actually manages to get a hit in, which tells you how dangerous he is because Neagly doesn't usually let people get that close. What follows is absolutely wild. You've got Neagly, wounded but still fighting like a cornered tiger, dealing with this psycho who's trying to turn her into a DIY project with his drill. The whole thing is intense, claustrophobic, and straight up brutal. But the best part? Just when things are getting real dicey, Reacher shows up, and what happens next is pure poetry. Neagly and Reacher tag team this dude like they're back in their military days, and in the most ironic twist ever, they end up using his own drill against him. Talk about karma. Season 2 of Reacher didn't just live up to the hype, it smashed right through it. Every fight scene feels bigger, more intense, and somehow even more satisfying than the last. What makes this season special isn't just the individual fights, It's watching Reacher work with his team, showing that sometimes the biggest badass in the room is even better with backup. The way they escalated the action while keeping everything grounded in Reacher's tactical, methodical style is just chef's kiss. If you haven't watched these scenes yet, what are you even doing? Go check them out. Please comment with your favorite fight from seasons 1 and 2, and remember to hit the like button if you want to see more breakdowns like this. Peace out.